ChupacabraCon, although more on that later. Right now, I'm making coffee. Coffee acquired. Time to go. Well, I say go. We're not going to Austin yet. We have 2 stops. So, stop 1. Step 1 achieved. Lubbock Airport. Ooh. Sorry. Lubbock Preston Smith International Airport. I think it gets that international part by doing 1 flight to Mexico every blue moon. Step 1A. So why am I here? Well, in addition to being one of the most expensive places in the civilized world to fly out of, or into, Lubbock Airport also has an Enterprise rental car open this early. Okay, rental car achieved. And an upgrade to a much nicer one than I would have been able to afford on my own. So, going great so far. Alright. Step 2. Breakfast. Breakfast acquired. More importantly, more coffee acquired. Courtesy of McDonald's and their delicious McGriddles, which are basically just sandwiches of joy made out of pancakes with syrup injected into them. It does not get better than that. So now I'm going to remember how to get out of town this way. Yes, that way. And then we're on the road proper. Somewhere down the line I'm going to be answering questions from people on here and enjoy this 5-hour drive through what is easily one of the most boring parts of the earth. So check in with y'all in a bit. So I am on the longest, most boringest straight shot part of this entire stupid drive. I'm not super thrilled by it. So, to cut the time here a little bit and make myself have a bit better time, a bit better go, I asked people to send me questions in on Twitter. And I got a bunch, which was nice. I was kind of wondering if I might end up having just like 2 or 3, but I got a bunch, and I'm pretty pleased by that. So I'm gonna answer them. Don't worry, I promise I'm being very safe. First question is from Shannon Maynor, my good friend. She's on the Kingdom Smarts podcast with Jake. She's on the Cool Kids Table podcast, CKT Cast, with Jake, Josh, and Alan. She's a recurring character on Pokemon World Tour United, and she's guested on Fifth Draw Wild a few times. Great content person. I'm really happy to have her on. Sorry, I'm rambling. Again, this part of the drive is very boring, so I apologize if things get weird. So she asked, what are you most excited to do/see at the convention? I'm going to ChupacabraCon, a gaming, mainly RPG convention in Round Rock, Texas. I know I keep saying Austin, and that's because unless you're from there or really familiar with the area, saying Round Rock probably means nothing to you. But if I say Austin, you probably get it. It's the same logic I use when I tell people I was I'm from Austin originally, which is not true, but works for most purposes. Man, I'm getting rambly already. It is not a good sign. So, ChupacabraCon, RPG convention. There's several things that I'm really excited about. It's just a weekend. It's like half of Friday today, all day tomorrow, and then I do mean all day. Things will probably crack open at about 8, and there's stuff scheduled all the way down to a live auction at midnight tomorrow night. So it's gonna be busy, and then Sunday runs till about noon. So we'll see. It's gonna be a jam-packed weekend. But things that I'm excited about. When I went 2 years ago to their third time they'd done this, I didn't know what to expect, and then I discovered that, hey, there's a bunch of like kind of big name people that attended. Like almost all of the major production and writing crew for Savage Worlds was there. Like the owner of the company that makes Savage Worlds, the guy who wrote the original rules, was there. It was awesome. Kenneth Haidt was there. Yeah, just a bunch of people. This year, there doesn't seem to be as many. I don't know how many people are actually going to be here from the Savage Worlds company, from Pinnacle. I don't know if anyone is, which is a bummer, but, you know, people, schedules, whatever. Kenneth Haidt's still going to be there, which will be great. I'm really hoping to catch a panel with him. He has some really good advice on running games that I just really enjoy. He and Robin Laws have a podcast called Ken and Robin Talk About Stuff. If you're a game master or interested in gaming and how to better tell stories in the in-game space, that's a podcast you should check out. So I'm excited to hear him. The other thing that I'm really excited about at the convention is I'm getting to run 2 games. They're both going to be powered by the Apocalypse games, which have become kind of my personal preferred flavor of RPG right now. Partially because of the ease of use. It's an easy system. You need 2d6s. That's it. Character creation's really simple. It's just a great fun engine to run a game on. The 2 games I'm running are going to be Masks and Worlds in Peril. They're both superhero games. Masks is designed to be like sidekicks or young heroes. I think it's specifically young heroes. The game I'm running, the scenario, session, whatever, is one I made up. It's a sidekick game specifically. And the blurb that I put on the website for the game, for people that sign up to play it, was you're going to play a bunch of sidekicks of established heroes going to superhero summer camp where absolutely nothing villainous will happen. I got to, as part of the prep for that, I got to make just a heap of other heroes, the heroes that will be the mentor heroes, the established superheroes that the players will be sidekicks for. A play group that I play a superhero game with online, which will become relevant to a later question, helped out, got some ideas from them as well for some heroes, and we fleshed them all out. And it's gonna be interesting, and I'm probably gonna do like a full rundown of this later. I don't know, a version of this session might appear on Lost Library as a one-shot at some point. I'm not quite sure. I'm leaving it open. We'll see. It could be fun. The other game I'm running is Worlds in Peril, which is designed to be like just full-on superheroes, kind of doing superhero-y kind of everyday things, rescuing people, thwarting villains, that kind of stuff. Because I can't leave well enough alone, I have to twist it, so what we're doing is we're playing a kind of Crisis on Infinite Earths kind of game. I'm calling it Multiversal Madness. All of the players are going to be playing the same superhero. They're going to be playing versions of this hero from different Earths, though, which is the trick. The hero's called Midnight Fox. He's a guy I came up with. He's kind of Black Panther-y, a little bit, but there's a whole bunch of different versions of him. So there's like a future version of him along the lines of like Spider-Man 2099. There's a noir version of him along the lines of Spider-Man Noir. Look, Spider-Verse was really inspiring in this regard. So there's like a noir version. There's a power armored version, almost like an Iron Man version. There's what I call the primal version, who's kind of like a Tarzan. There's a mystic version, kind of a Doctor Strange. Did I say Mr. Strange? I meant Doctor Strange. I might not include this bit in the cut. And there's, of course, the obligatory steampunk version of him. So all that's in there. It should be great fun, especially just seeing how people interpret this character. I chose a base name for Midnight Fox that is non-gendered. So, and the drawings that I'll get to in a minute about both of these two games, the drawings, I specifically asked that they not display a lot of physical sexual characteristics, so it can be kind of an androgynous form, because I really do want my players to be able to take this and make whatever version of this they want. So if they want to play male, they can play male. If they want to play female, they can play female. It's fine. It works. Whatever the cause, whatever the issue, it works. They're going to be facing off against a bunch of different versions of Midnight Fox's villains, which should be fun, because it let me do a lot of weird stuff in that space too. And the big bad is also going to be a pretty fun reveal. Tying on to that, what I'm excited about there is a buddy of mine, and maybe a buddy of yours, and a fellow podcaster, Sky Ertl, designed all these characters for me. He did an amazing job, and I'm super, super excited that he and I got to work together like this. Y'all should check him out for sure. He's at Sandwich Surplus on Twitter. He does a podcast called Pop Culture Failure that you should absolutely check out. They're doing Animorphs right now, the Animorphs TV show. They did Ninja Turtles Next Mutation. That was a gross and dumb show. They survived Inhumans, the Inhumans TV show somehow. More power to them there. Lord knows I wouldn't have been able to survive it. And now they're on Animorphs, so go check that out. Okay, next question is from Alan at Alan_Cells on Twitter. He's my podcasting partner, a good buddy of mine. He does Forging Worlds with me. He does Hard Reboot with Jake and I. He is on the Cool Kids table with Jake, Josh, and Shannon. And he is the Game Master on Pokemon World Tour United. He also is going to be game mastering a campaign over on the Lost Library feed. It's probably starting sometime this summer, so keep an eye out for that announcement. And he asks, if you could have any superpower, what would it be? If you want, give both a just for fun power and a practical power. Let's see. Practical power is easy. Teleportation or portaling. So kind of like what Blink? That it? Yeah, the mutant that could make a portal, go through it. Either teleportation or some kind of make a portal, step through to another place. Probably the portal one. I think that's got some more utility to it, where you can just open a portal for someone else too. That would be my practical power. That's just a very useful power. Listen. I know that doesn't sound necessarily like it could be just super useful for combat, besides like doing tricks where you just like jump out, punch them, jump through another portal, jump out, punch them again, that whole lather, rinse, repeat deal. But imagine this for 1 second. Someone's being a jerk to you. You open a portal kind of like right about here next to their head, just a few inches away, and then you open the other end of the portal down at like the bottom of the Marianas Trench, and suddenly they're hit by ice cold water right to the side of the head at high pressure, probably not enough to like kill, but enough to just like really punch them with water right in the head. And that's fun. That seems fun to me. Yeah, portaling is my practical choice. Just for fun choice, I don't know. If I could have like Magneto's powers, but for like plastic or rubber, so I could just have like bouncy balls and moon balls like orbiting me and just like fling them at people all the time, that'd be great. That'd be a fun power. That would annoy literally everyone, including probably myself, pretty quickly. So there, those are my power questions, Alan. You're welcome. Okay, next question is from Tea with Dragons, who is at Tea with Dragons on Twitter. She asks, what songs have been inspiring you lately? Well, I've been pretty much since Jake recommended it to me on Hard Reboot a couple months ago when we did his Greek mythology ongoing universe kind of setup episode. Check that out. It was fun. That's, I think, one of the ongoing universes that I'm really, really interested in, like, really digging into. So, yeah, that he recommended Hades Town to me by Anise Mitchell. I've been listening to that almost constantly since then, interspersed with the other thing I'm going to talk about. But it's just great. It takes the Orpheus and Eurydice story from Greek mythology and transposes it to like a 1920s, 1930s mining town. It's still got all like the myth aspect mixed in with it, but also like mining and prohibition and all that good stuff. It's awesome. There's some amazing performers that are on that album. Check it out. Wedding Song is fantastic. Way Down to Hades Town has the best line I think ever written. Like, it might just be a perfect line, and this might just be a, hey, look, that's a weirdo thing, but like, this line is "Sold to the king of the chromium throne," which is, it just feels good. It just rolls off your tongue. It's great. What a great line. I would probably be able to yell about that line a lot. I don't know why, but it's just perfect to me. That's not true. I do know why. It feels good. It's good sentence structure. Plus, chromium is not a phrase used, not like a word or mineral used enough. Use more chromium, kids. The other things that's been kind of inspiring me lately is a band called Abney Park. I was about to say steampunk punk, but that's silly. They're a steampunk band, kind of, maybe, sometimes. They're a band that doesn't really adhere to any one particular genre or style, and just kind of claims the steampunk aesthetic and slaps that over top of whatever they're doing, so they don't really have to be like, oh, we're metal, or oh, we're pop, or oh, we're folk. We're steampunk. Yay, airships. They're fun. Some of their stuff is weird, like especially some of their older stuff is weird. There was one album that was like really leaned hard into the whole like steampunk aesthetic of like airship pirates and everything, which is cool and great. But you know, if you want something that's a little less just like, oh, steampunk all the time, yeah, maybe don't go for Aether Shanties right off the bat. I would suggest, honest suggestion, start with Circus at the End of the World. It's great. It's got amazing songs on there. the title song, Circus at the End of the World, is the first track. It's fun, and it's like a world that I would love to explore, play around with, things like that. Just like the aesthetic and the tone that they set is great. I've said great way too many times. Fantastic, amazing. There are other words. Yeah, check out Circus at the End of the World. If you dig that, go back and check End of Days. If you dig that, then maybe give Eighth or Shanties a try. Explore their discography. Get in the pool, wait around a little bit. You do you, fam. Yeah, that's kind of been the big ones. I've been digging around. I like some Walk the Moon. I was on a Billy Joel kick there for a bit. I was on an Eagles kick, but that was less of an Eagles kick and more of I listened to Seven Bridges Road for an entire day. Look, I'm weird. My taste in music is weird. Just, you do you, man. Next question. Ooh, got a twofer. This is from Janine at the Rummy J on Twitter. And she says, first question, what celebrity or celebrities would you like to play with in a dream tabletop RPG? This is a hard one. Because one, most celebrities, I don't care about them. Whatever, y'all look great in movies and y'all are very beautiful people. So I'm going to break this down into like two categories here. So I'll give you some real legit celebrities first that I just think would be fun to spend a couple hours rolling some bones with. And then I'll give you like a more honest answer of just like some cool people with a larger following than myself that I would like to play with. So those are two categories. Sorry, I'm bending your question, Janine. So first category. Let's see. If I'm gonna, am I playing or am I DMing? I don't know that it matters. I mean, it probably does, but I don't know. I'm just gonna like chill at the table, roll some bones with some folks. Anna Kendrick, Naomi Scott, both in there. Chris Hemsworth, but I don't know. That might be weird because, listen, I'm a straight dude. And after watching Ragnarok and Avengers, it's like, yes, sir, Mr. Hemsworth, anything you want. Yeah. That would be intimidating. Vin Diesel apparently plays the Dungeons and Dragons, so sure. Yeah, why not? I would like to see if he's actually like a fun person and not just some mix of Riddick and Toretto. I mean, if I got him at the table, then I would probably try to pitch him on some movie on actually turning Fast and the Furious into both a superhero movie and my other favorite Fast and the Furious theory, that it's all a prequel to Mad Max. Think about it. Okay. So people I would game with that are maybe not like full-on celebrities, but are people with a larger following than myself. But people who are larger following than myself, wider reach than myself. Yeah, more successful than myself. So far. That's not like a depressing more successful than me. That's just like they're at a level that I aspire to be. Graham Stark from Loading Ready Run. I'd want him at the table. Especially because I feel like if we had a really fun D&D or other tabletop RPG session, then I would get a chance to like play Commander with him, Magic the Gathering with him, and that would just be a blast. That would just be really fun. Also from Loaded Ready Run, Alex Stacey. He seems like he kind of like has a similar humor to me. He's just actually funnier. I feel like I'm funny by accident. He feels like he's funny on purpose. Let's see. I don't think he would actually ever do it, but Bernie Burns from Rooster Teeth would be fun. Again, some of these people are just like, if I had an excuse to sit down at a table and pick their brains about things under the disguise of playing D&D, then sure. Yeah, that's kind of where this comes from. I need a fourth for this group. Who would my fourth be? You know what? It would be Ryan Haywood from Achievement Hunter. Would probably be the fourth, because that dude seems cool. That dude seems fun. I'd play games with him. Yeah, so there you go, Janine. That's who I would play D&D with. Let's see. What was Janine's second question? Alright, Janine's second question is, what tabletop RPG do you have enough material lying around for an impromptu campaign if you needed to make one on the spot? Twofold. This is another, like, I'm going to answer it and then kind of devise a second answer to the question. So again, I'm sorry if I'm cheating. Or maybe not. Maybe that's not an apology-worthy thing. That's just more like, hey, you get two answers for the price of one. Okay. So first off, what tabletop RPGs do I just have stuff lying around everywhere for? The answer to that is Savage Worlds. I have so much Savage Worlds. Top of my head, I'm trying to mentally look at my bookshelf that has all my games on it. So I've got the core book that's actually with me on this trip because there's going to be Savage Worlds played. I need it. There's the core book. I have the Necessary Evil setting. I have the East Texas University horror setting, which is great fun, and I want to do something in it. Man, that's a fun setting. I have 50 Fathoms. I have Marchland? Is that what it's called? I'm not 100% sure on that one. Aether Skies. Weird Wars Rome. Last Parsec. It's another one I want to do stuff in. Then Six Gun. They did a licensed Six Gun setting. Which may not mean anything to a bunch of y'all, but to those of you who are familiar with the Six Gun comic, means a lot to y'all, and y'all are probably going, ooh, that sounds interesting. And listen, let me tell you something very, very true. It looks really interesting. And having finally read some Six Gun, yeah, I want to play in that world, and I have the materials to do so. I just need the people and the time. So, Savage Worlds is going to be the best answer to your question kind of as written, like the letter of the law kind of answer. It would be Savage Worlds. The spirit of the law answer, which was more along the lines of what could I just crank out a one-shot of if I had to, that's a wider question. And what that comes down to really is a couple points. One is, and this is going to sound a bit conceited, and I'm sorry if it does, confidence. Like, your confidence with the materials, with your ability to run a game, with your ability to improv, all that ties together. If you have the confidence to do it, and you have some willing players, you can run just about anything. Like, honestly, grab a system, one that you're at least passingly familiar with, and just crank something out that more or less is within theme. So confidence is the first thing. Second thing, again, familiarity with the rules. At this point, I feel pretty confident that I could just... Well, okay, let me back up. I could absolutely just be dropped into a scenario where someone's like, hey, we need someone to run a Dungeons & Dragons adventure, and I can crank one out. I have like 3 just kind of stockpiled in my head that are like basic starting points with a general idea of where they could go. Nothing super just like carved in stone, because in a situation like that, you don't want it carved in stone. You want it to be loose. You want to be able to just kind of improv and adapt and go on the fly. So that's like D&D I could absolutely do. Savage Worlds, I would want to have at least my core book with me, but I could do a Savage Worlds thing. And the fun part of Savage Worlds is there's so much breadth to that product. Like they dropped one not too long ago that was a Flash Gordon licensed game, which is great. They did one called The Goon that sounds like a lot of fun. They got the license to do riffs from Palladium. If you don't know what that is, that's probably for the best. It's so back in the darker days of RPGs, there were a couple of big name products, D&D, GURPS, and riffs were kind of some of the biggest ones that just went hog wild on the tabletop RPG scene. Riffs is bonkers. Riffs, you can play anything from anywhere. It's nuts. It's nuts. It's legitimately nuts. So I also feel like now after doing Grayscale for Lost Library a little bit, I feel like I could run Monster of the Week really well, and I feel like I could run Masked and World in Peril pretty well now, just at the drop of a hat. So that's the answer to that one, Janine. Thank you. Okay, a few more questions here. Christina Woods at CWoodsArt on Twitter, who is a cast member on Lost Library on the Grayscale campaign specifically. Her first proper episode is coming up in June. It's going to be episode 3. I'm excited for it. It's got a fun name. It's got a fun theme. Gonna be great. Plus the cast, like the characters are gonna be bonkers in that one. I'm really happy for that blend. I mean, look, any blend of that cast is gonna be fun and is probably going to put me through the ringer as a GM. But you know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger or stranger. One of those two. One of those is probably right. Christina also does her own podcast. It's called The Home for Wayward OCs. It's really fun. It's her and a guest talking about her guest's OC, original character. Man, go listen to that. It's great. So she asked a bunch of questions. The first one is, I think, probably one that I'm going to languish on for a little bit. Maybe not. I don't know. This whole section's running long. This is probably going to be a longer video than I ever intended. We'll see how it edits down. What is a superpower you're glad doesn't exist? Superman? Like, just full stop? Because no one in the real world is that nice and that good. And if they're empowered, they're certainly not. Like, that doesn't happen. No one's really just that much of a Boy Scout. I'm also kind of cynical, so maybe someone is. I don't know. Yeah, can I just say Superman? Is that allowed? I think maybe also the Phoenix. I'm glad that doesn't exist. Or, considering what came out last week from the time of recording, and what I'm going to go see for a second time later today, this doesn't actually come up in any movie yet so far, so this isn't spoilers. Scarlet Witch. I'm glad she does not exist in the real world, because, at least in the comics, like, her default is... People, I don't know... This is weird. I don't know that people know how to handle her terribly well. Like, it could be some combination of... I'm not sure that they know how to write her all that great, because there was definitely, like, a weird incest thing in the Ultimate universe, which is weird. There was also, like, they just do weird stuff with her. Just all the time. But the reason I'm glad that her superpowers don't exist in this world is because when she has an emotional break, it tends to rewrite reality a little bit, and I've had some emotional breaks that would probably have resulted in most of the universe just being deleted, like Broken Matt Hardy style deleted, and that doesn't do anything good for people. So that one, Scarlet Witch's powers, that's my final answer. But honest to goodness, any superpower actually coming into the real world is a nightmare scenario. It doesn't lead anywhere good, not without balance. And in fairness, if you're not a superhero, the worlds of Marvel and DC and most comic books are probably nightmares. All right, second question from Christina. Favorite kind of dog? Husky. Love a husky. Love a husky. I also just really love corgis, and like they're perfect little dumb sausages. They're great. I love a husky and a corgi. I wonder what a horgy would look like. Probably adorable. Husky? Also, in non-actual real dog category, Biscuit. If you don't love Biscuit, I think you might be a monster. I apologize to any nice monsters out there. Next question from Christina. What is your preferred method of writing? Pen, pencil, paper, computer, stone tablets, etc.? I used to try to do like just pen and paper writing. I think a lot of people get into that like, oh, this is the purest form of writing. I'm going to be pretentious and do this. Man, screw that noise. It's you write on whatever you feel comfortable writing on. And for me, largely that's gonna be computer. Like I'll jot down notes and stuff beforehand, but it's gonna be computer. Like that's where most of that happens. So there you go. What are some underrated Pokemans? Underrated Pokemans. I'm really, really bad at Pokemoning because I just like grab the dudes I love and just use them forever. Hey, fun side fact. The character I play on Pokemon World Tour United, Trajan, the gym leader, one of the gym leaders, has a fairly detailed backstory that is, you know, it's there, and Alan's aware of it, so if he needs to use it, he can. Like, he and I have talked about that. He knows what I've given him, and it's not canon until and unless they say it is, so I'm not really going to mention a lot of it. But one thing that he does have is he has an actual team, not like a gym leader team, but like an actual legit team, and it's monsters. Well, not monsters. Like, there's no Pepper because he's not a Rose. So like, and they're all just my favorite dudes, and none of them are really underrated, I don't think. I mean, maybe Golurk. Those guys might be underrated. They're just good little Golem boys, and I love me a Golem. I know in game mechanic terms, Cast Form is not a great Pokemon since kind of Cast Form's whole deal is weather based, and weather is just garbage from a trash can. But I like a Cast Form. That's why Cast Form was on my gym leader team. I like Cast Form. Plus, Cast Form met the requirements of that team. I don't want to talk about it anymore because there's still like 50-50 odds that Trajan is someone that I might talk with Christina about on her Home for Wayward Overseas podcast. I don't know yet. But I'm going to just leave a lot of that conversation aside. Underrated Pokemon. Shaman? Am I allowed to say Shaman? Is a legendary Pokemon technically underrated? It's my good literal hedgehog. got a flower in his head, her head, its head, their head. I love Shaman. I don't know why. It's just one of those things. Like, I saw him and I was like, oh, this is perfect. This is a Pokemon. This is one unit of Pokemon. The platonic ideal of Pokemon to me is Shaman. I don't really care for Pikachu. I don't like the Thunder Rat. I really don't like the Thunder Rat. And I especially don't like how much the Pokemon Company and Nintendo keep trying to shove the Thunder Rat down all our throats. There you go. That's an overrated Pokemon for free. So Shaman, I guess, is maybe my real answer, just because Shaman tends to be one of those, like, underused legendaries, or underappreciated legendaries, however you want to phrase it. There you go. I think that answers the question. Do you? Sure. So, that's been it. Like I said, got registered for the convention. Got settled into the hotel room. I'm going to finish editing the vlog to go up tomorrow morning, depending on the hotel internet, so we'll see. And went and saw Avengers Infinity War with Jake. So, that's good. That's fun. It's been a day. So, I'm going to finish the edit, then I'm going to go to bed, and then I'm going to wake up and GM some games. So, see y'all tomorrow.